I've got some unfortunate news for some people that were still holding out hope that Rian Johnson was gonna get another crack at Star Wars. You know, the guy that effectively killed the franchise, or at least he sparked the fire. Okay, he set up all the kindling, and he was the one to throw the match. But honestly, was he the one to burn it all to the ground? I'd probably give that accolade to Dave Filoni. He was the one that seen the entire structure on fire, and instead of grabbing for a fire extinguisher, he just grabbed the tiny tank of gasoline and let her rip. But yeah, the guy who made Luke Skywalker one of cinema's greatest heroes, a titty milk drinking bitch. There's a couple of things to say about the franchise that catapulted him to prominence, because I know he directed a couple of episodes of Breaking Bad, and, people had, when he was announced that he was going to be directing what, according to Kathleen Kennedy, would have been the equivalent to Empire Strikes Back in the sequel trilogy, there was reason to be excited because, yeah, he had proven his worth as a director in television, and, well, maybe he could do that on the big screen. And then we seen the output. Some of the shots look nice, but the rest of it, it's just too bad there wasn't a coherent story or anything heroic, or knowing that it was going to be the second part of a trilogy killing off so many storylines. It's like, he couldn't have done this any worse, but I digress. Let's go into some of the new news. The Last Jedi director, Rian Johnson, says Kathleen Kennedy hired him to make Empire Strikes Back for the sequel trilogy. I took that assignment very seriously. Bro, I guess in a meta sense, The Last Jedi ended up being the low point for the sequel trilogy, but Empire, for being overall darker in tone, didn't reveal Yoda as like being a lecherous old man who was just, moving Jedi Masters around across the galaxy because of some uncomfortable allegations coming to light, or Obi-Wan it wasn't revealed to be a cuck. It's like, yeah, you took that assignment very seriously, and you missed the mark. You took it seriously, but you didn't get the assignment, apparently. Okay, well, Star Wars fans will forever debate whether or not he was at all successful in the effort. Yeah, but the film made $1.7 billion, which is less than The Force Awakens. And then Rise of Skywalker came out, and it made just barely $1 billion. And the movie that came out directly after The Last Jedi, Solo, lost money. But anyways, Last Jedi director Rian Johnson says that rather than any sort of attempt to intentionally torch the franchise's reputation, a highly divisive film was an earnest attempt at fulfilling Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy's wish for the sequel trilogy's own Empire Strikes Back. Bro, like if Gary Kurtz decided, we should probably kill off Vader because we could just have Palpatine at the end, be fine. Nobody really likes, the big bad having an underling. Like, we could just go ahead and get rid of that. Like, you killed off Snoke for no reason. If you made Kylo a bitch and Hux the butt of your mama jokes, fuck, anyways. During a recent conversation centered around his Peacock original series Poker Face, Johnson was asked by Rolling Stone's Alan Seipenwall about what amount of truth, if any, was behind the popular conception that you and J.J. Abrams didn't really talk, which is why certain ideas get undone from one movie to the next, because, yeah, that's a conversation that's obviously gone on, because, yeah, when Rise of Skywalker, I was going to say Rise of Palpatine, which is obviously more accurate, because Rise of Palpatine, guys, after it was teased, or after Daisy Ridley was told that she was going to be a descendant of Obi-Wan, and then, oh no, she's going to be out of another line of Jedis. Oh no, wait, she's going to be Palpatine's granddaughter. All right. And The Last Jedi is episode 8, not episode 9. But anyways, immediately moving, yes, to dispel rumors. But, oh no, yeah, going back to the Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams hate each other. It's because, yeah, there are obvious plot points. It's like one of the first things that Kylo Ren does after, he goes to Mustafar to get to the first of 25 different fucking McMuffins in that goddamn movie. Is he repaired the helmet that he had Kylo Ren spurg out and destroy after Snoke said that it was a dumb helmet in the fucking elevator. It's like, oh, okay, cool. That and the sidelining Rose Tico. Like, yeah, there's some clear evidence that a lot of the major stuff that you set up there, Johnson, in Last Jedi, yeah, it doesn't end up getting carried over. And oh yeah, Luke's line about the importance of a lightsaber, and that's not how a Jedi treats his weapon. That's in direct defiance to everything that you were saying, but okay. Immediately moving to dispel the rumors, the director recalled, we communicated, we met, and I spent days with him, and was able to get into his head and all the choices he has made. That having been said, I communicated, and I wanted and I went and made the movie, he was in the middle of The Force Awakens. Interesting. Okay, yeah, we communicated, we talked, we spent a few days together, but I made the movie that I wanted to make. I don't really know if that dispels rumors in so much as that kind of crystallizes exactly what we thought. This round-headed asshole had his idea of how he wanted to do Star Wars, and he went and did it at the behest of everybody else. But Kathleen Kennedy is like, that's all right, it's darker, it's great, it's like Empire. I was a producer once. I got a lot of coffee for a lot more important and a lot more talented people. Ultimately, I feel like the choices in it, none of them were born out of an intent to undo anything. Well, I don't really know. Like, he was writing that movie so incredibly poorly that, yeah, it's tough to say that, you know, any of the characters as he used them in The Last Jedi were assassinated from The Force Awakens. But the way that JJ, like, if you want to talk about undoing anything, yeah, JJ was definitely the guy who undid or remade more. But okay, they were all born out of the opposite intent of, how do I take the story that JJ wrote, that I really loved, and these characters he created that I really loved, and how do I take them to the next step? Kathy said, we're looking at someone to do an Empire, okay, of this series. I took that assignment very seriously, maybe more seriously than someone would have liked, rather. I guess to me, it didn't mean making something that just had nods to Empire. Right, yeah, because you went to a white planet. But it wasn't snow, it was salt, and it was called Crate. It wasn't Hoth, trust me. I put it at the end of the movie, not at the beginning, because the Empire has Hoth at the beginning, and I have Crate at the end. It's different. That meant trying to genuinely do what Empire did. Well, you kind of failed. Why do you keep calling it episode 9? It's not. But anyways, not yet fully convinced that the two directors were in communication. Sippenwall raised the example of how The Force Awakens set up Snoke to be this big villain in the new trilogy with a mysterious backstory. But he does know Kylo's lineage, okay? Because he says, you need to go onto the Millennium Falcon, the ship that is owned by your father, Han Solo. Very good stuff. JJ's also, like, for as much shit as Ryan is going to get for his writing style, like JJ Abrams just... what a wordsmith. Kylo Ren slices, him in two and takes over the First Order. Yeah, it was so great. God. In turn, Johnson explained, that was in reading JJ's script and watching the dailies and seeing the power of Adam Driver's character. Right, the bitch who got beat by somebody who had never traded a day in the life with the Force, with a lightsaber. You got beat by a girl, and it was only because the planet was splitting in half that you weren't killed. Meanwhile, you're the son of Leia and Han, and you were trained by Luke Skywalker. Right, yeah, he's immensely powerful. The interrogation scene in the first movie between Rey and Kylo was so incredibly powerful. Seeing this complicated villain that's been created, I was just so compelled by that. So you wanted to make him a bitch off rip. Interesting. This is all a matter of perspective and phrasing, but to me, I didn't easily dispense with Snoke. Bro, he had 2 scenes and he got bifurcated in the second one. Like, the fuck are you talking about? I took to great pains to use him in the most dramatically impactful way I could. Yeah, but just having him in the throne room and just having him yell at Kylo and then him spurging out afterwards, yeah, great stuff. And that's why the trilogy that you were signed on to, apparently, after The Last Jedi is never going to be made. Oopsie daisy. All of those people still holding out hope. Well, continue to hold out a little bit longer. Rian Johnson revealed his announced Star Wars trilogy never made it past the concept stage. Oh no! How sad. Last Jedi director Rian Johnson revealed that the announced trilogy he was supposed to work on following Last Jedi never made it past the concept stage of development. Back in 2017, before the release of The Last Jedi, Lucasfilm announced that Johnson would direct a new Star Wars trilogy. In a blog post on the Star Wars website, the company stated Lucasfilm is excited to announce that Johnson will create a brand new Star Wars trilogy, and the first of which he is also set to write and direct. The longtime collaborator Ram Bergman on board to produce and shepherding this new trilogy, which is separate from the episodic Skywalker saga. Johnson will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never been before explored. I'm sure it probably would have been a ripoff of some EU material, but I digress. 2 years after that announcement, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy informed The Hollywood Reporter that Johnson's trilogy, alongside a trilogy from Game of Thrones creator David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, another trilogy, wow, what happened with that one, would lay the groundwork for the next 10 years of Star Wars. Wow, back in 2019. And now that we're here, 6 years after that, and we've got how much work out of these 6 movies that were announced? All right, we're looking at the next saga, and we're not just looking at another trilogy, we're really looking at the next 10 years or more. In 2023 at Star Wars Celebration, Kennedy informed Variety, Ryan and I talk all the time. He is unbelievably busy. Wow, this really does reek like the Taika Waititi stuff that she was just talking about. But don't worry, Taika's definitely coming back to Star Wars, because it wasn't just announced that he's going to be making a new Judge Dredd movie, which, fuck, man, I don't even like the 2014 Judge Dredd movie all that much. But for as much as I was singing the praises of Carl Urban yesterday, it's I shudder to think if he comes back to play Dredd, what Taika would make him do. And I understand that they've worked together before, so that's why I'm kind of thinking it could happen. But a full-on Taika Waititi production with that interpretation of Judge Dredd, oh God. But anyways, so we're not actively involved in anything at the moment, because he's doing another one of those Glass Onion movies. Well, they're called Knives Out. The Knives Out is the pseudo franchise that's over the top of it, and Glass Onion was the second atrocious movie. But then God knows what else. Well, he's making another Knives Out movie that is coming out, I think, in November or something like that. I'm sure it's going to be equally crap with a star-studded cast where it's just a lot of wasted talent. But he really wants to step back into the space. It's a big commitment of time, so that's really on him, right? Said the same thing, about Taika Waititi, same thing about James Mangold, and both of those films are definitely going to get made any day now. Now, in a new interview with Rolling Stone, where he discussed Last Jedi, as well as the rise of Skywalker and his experience on Star Wars, Johnson was asked about what happened to his trilogy. He responded, nothing really happened with it. We had a great time working together, and then he said, let's keep doing it. I said, great. I would kick ideas around with Kathy. The short version is Knives Out happened. I went off and made Knives Out and was off to the races, busy making murder mysteries. That's the sort of thing, if down the line there's an opportunity to do it or something else in Star Wars, I would be thrilled. But right now, I'm just doing my own stuff and pretty happy. As far as how far the project got, Johnson shared, it was all very conceptual. I made Knives Out fairly quickly after. Interesting. It's like, we were kicking around some ideas for Star Wars, but Knives Out was fine. It worked smoothly. Interesting. There was never really any outline or treatment or anything. Oh, interesting. So never really got past the ideas phase, which, this is an accurate representation. This one screen grab is exactly what he did to Star Wars, and then he just decided, no, I'm going to go make stupid murder mysteries with fucking Daniel Craig. Good move, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, because he got a gigantic paycheck out of Lucasfilm and an even bigger one from Netflix. And, well, Star Wars, well, hey, it's never been healthier, right? 50th anniversary is right around the corner, and what do we have? A stupid Deadpool and Wolverine director and fucking wonky-eyed Ryan Gosling flying around on an X-Wing. Great stuff. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.